All right, haves and have not fans. It's a day of top 10 list. I've already done videos on top 10 favorite, top 10 least favorite characters within the haves and the have nots. And this video is basically 10 unanswered questions. I didn't want to say top 10 because I kind of just thought, the series finale, it's almost been a month since the airing of that episode and people still talk about how bad it was, and I can't blame them. I mean, I don't think it was a god-awful episode. I just feel like it was a shitty way of ending such a beloved series, and there were so many unanswered questions. I mean, don't get me wrong here. The finale alone probably has about 20 different WTF moments and questions in terms of, wait, I'm just like, what? But I just kind of picked 10 questions from over the course of the series as a whole that we never truly got a conclusive answer on. And I know that technically speaking, Wyatt said he killed Amanda. I still don't buy it. And that's why that question's the first one on the list. Who really killed Amanda? Now, I remember doing my blog at the time, doing extensive screenshots, research, rewatching certain scenes. It does not add up because the biggest thing for me was, who the hell took the gun? Now, you could argue that, well, think of it this way, Jeremy. Wyatt walked around the house, possibly went down to Jim's study. He knew how to, think in order to get passwords and whatnot. So maybe he knew the combination to the safe, got the gun out, shot Amanda, put the gun back because Catherine got the gun out, and then it was revealed that Jennifer Salison was killed with the same bullets that killed Amanda. In a way that kind of works, but why would a non-drunken Wyatt kill Amanda? Remember, at the time, he was clean. Remember, he was under lock and key by his parents at the Cryer estate after the Little Lizzie hit and run. So it just doesn't add up. I mean, Jennifer Salison told David that, hey, based on blood splatter and everything, it wasn't a suicide but a homicide. So it's just like, who really killed Amanda that night? All right. Is Derek just stuck in jail? I mean, after he got randomly arrested for some sort of warrant outside of Catherine's house, he was taken away, and that was the last time we saw him. Sure, Hannah basically threatened him, like, if you ever come around me again, I will kill you. You'll meet God sooner than you want to. And it's just like, well, okay. But then he got arrested, and that was it. We didn't get any follow-up. No, we didn't see him call Samuel or Laura on the phone from jail. We just never, it's a damn shame. And like I said in my on Instagram and one of my videos, it would be interesting if after the finale or after the events of Candace's death and Jim killed Candace and then Hannah killed Jim, Hannah making a phone call or even visiting the jail to let Derek know their daughter's dead. So Derek, one of the best characters introduced to the series, was written off unceremoniously. So it's a damn shame. I guess he's just stuck there and nobody cares. I mean, not even Samuel or Laura are like, wait, we haven't heard from Derek in a few days. What's going on here? Because remember, they were working together to get Veronica. So it's a damn shame. But Derek is like, we never knew what became of him. Season 1, good old Tony and the kidneys. I mean, kind of like so many other characters who I guess were either written off or just assumed to be dead off screen. Tony was in a situation where he needed kidneys or he would have died. And you know how Tyler Perry loves to not make sense with the continuity of how long the show has been going within the context of the show. Like in the final episode where Hannah told that cop she's been staying at Catherine Cryer's house that she's living in right now for a few months. I'm not even going to begin to talk about why that makes no sense at all. I'm guessing that based on how desperate Tony was for kidneys, he probably died off screen, but unless he appeared after Benny was killed and took the kidneys to survive, we'll never know. Not to mention, I think the biggest shame is the fact that Tony never manned up and told Benny why he wanted him off life support, because I think that would have been a great character moment for Benny to have him decide whether or not giving Tony a kidney is the right thing to do, because at the end of the day, that is your father, but that doesn't mean you have to have any kind of allegiance to him because he was never around for you. This would have been a great moment for Benny because he would have been the one to decide whether or not to. I'm not an expert in this, but if I'm not mistaken, do we have more than one kidney? And couldn't he donate like one of his kidneys to save Tony's life? To be completely honest, I would have liked to see that happen. Like, didn't that nurse tell Hannah that Tony has a lot of kids and he brought them all in to test to see if they were a match, and they weren't, and Benny was pretty much his last resort? And the shame is we never even got the results of, I wonder if Benny was a match, and if so, would he make the call to save his dad? Because even though Tony had nothing to do with him, never paid child support, was never there, it would have been interesting to have Benny use the Christian and good-natured influence of his mother to say, you know what, I'm going to help you. Not because you're my dad, not because it's, something that's going to save your life. It's just because it's the right thing to do, and that's what my mom taught me. That would have been great, because Tony would have lived the rest of his life knowing that he was just a no good, dirty dog, and the son that he never cared for was the one to save his life. So that would have been an interesting story dynamic, which would have given weight to both of their characters, but unfortunately never happened. So next thing, and to be completely honest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These next 7 questions all relate to the finale, and this was what I was trying to avoid. But I mean, there were other questions I wanted to list, but due to the fact that a majority of the main cast was killed in the finale, there was really no need to bring up certain questions because, well, they're dead. So what does it matter? The question of who really died, going back to rewatch certain scenes from the finale, there are definitely times where I'm like, okay, this character probably isn't dead. Like, I would completely buy it if Tyler Perry was like, oh yeah, this person didn't really die. Like, Catherine lost consciousness, but she didn't die when she was being strangled. Maybe one of the guards came to save her just in time, or David was far away enough from the bomb that he didn't get blown up, or perhaps the moment Jeffrey opened the box, Madison recognized it was a bomb and they tossed it across the house and they ran and then they survived, or something along those lines. But when you look at characters like Benny or, Jim, they're definitely dead. But I think that overall, in the reunion special, the cast pretty much acted like, well, hey, did Veronica send out her maid to get shot instead of her? Did David make it far enough away from the living room to escape the blast radius of Tanner's bomb? There are just so many questions we just don't know. And the cast seemed to be in the same boat of, well, we acted out what the script said, but it never really confirmed whether or not this was meant to be true. So that leads to the next question, like, what did Hannah do after finding out about Benny and Catherine? Hannah lost her damn mind and killed Jim, and she literally had a psychotic breakdown in the car in the last couple minutes of the show. But then after that, it's like, is she flipped out over Candace? What is she going to do about Benny? What is she going to do about Catherine? So there are just so many things we wanted to know about Hannah's reaction to the deaths of her friends and family. It's pretty crazy to think about. And speaking of Benny, what about Tanisha and the baby? They just appeared in the 11th hour and revealed, hey, this is your son. And I guess because Hannah lost everything, not even knowing that Candace was pregnant, I guess she has a new grandson now. I mean, I'd still like to think that a blood test will be done just to confirm this is my grandbaby. So I wonder what is to become of Tanisha and the baby, which I don't dislike the character or the child. It's just the fact that I feel like they waited way too long to introduce them into the series just to kill Benny off soon after. Then speaking of the other child, Candace, where were Landon and Charles? Which again, I honestly don't care for the storyline, but it was really dumb to have the episode before she was killed, to have Landon tell Candace, we're always watching you, we know where you're at, yet nobody seemed to be shadowing her when she went to the Malone bar, or when she was delivered to Jim Cryer and then killed, especially after it was revealed that she was pregnant with Charles's kid. I guess at that point they opted to turn their heads away from Candace and let whatever happened happen. I guess. And then speaking of Candace being killed, what went down at the Malone bar after Candace was dragged away? Is Mitch still alive? Did he lose his legs as Vinny threatened? Did, Mama Rose get involved somehow? Those are some major questions to be asked here. I mean, he was beating up Vinny for a little bit until the other two guys grabbed him. Then Vinny made a couple shots and then he knocked him to the ground and made him pin the two guys, hold him down there. And there's just so much we don't know after we cut to the next scene. I feel like instead of just killing Mitch off immediately, make him feel the weight of his betrayal by learning of, oh, Vinny got shot down or Jim killed Candace. So I really want to know what happened at the Malone bar after Candace got taken out. Then we got the last couple things like, what did Veronica leave behind? The fact that Hannah had those papers that we never saw delivered or signed by her, that would have taken Veronica of everything. What about the puzzle pieces, which honestly don't matter because everybody she was going to use puzzle pieces against, Catherine, Jim, and David, are supposedly dead. And what about Samuel and Samuel and Laura's plan to take all of her money? Derek included, but he's in jail. And that leads to the final question is, and I feel like this is more so like a missing scene from the epilogue, if there was one. The news reports, all these stories about so-and-so dying, Veronica, Jim, Candace, seeing characters we haven't seen in years on screen for just a moment reacting to certain news. That would have been amazing. So I wonder how people would have reacted to certain character deaths. So with that being said, that's just a number of about 10, I think about 10 different unanswered questions from the series. Let me know what important questions we never got a true conclusion on that you wish we did. And maybe if I see a variety of questions, I might do another video kind of giving my answer, if I'm able to, that is. But thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.